What's up, nerds? Welcome to Nintendo Pow Block for July 21st, 2017. Splatoon Day!
Woo! Yes!
Try number 2. I'm one of your hosts, Corey Derrigan, alongside me, as always, the best man in the business and my sidekick, Eddie V, Edward Varnell.
Yes, everybody. Hope you guys are being a kid, being a squid, and just enjoying Splatoon 2 or any video game for this weekend. Yes, I'm so happy you're talking about Nintendo though, because there's a lot of stuff that came out. But yes.
Yes. Oh man. Well, after that audio technical difficulty from we were having such a good conversation.
We was, dude. Everybody. I got to talk about the Nintendo 2DS. So before we get into what we've been playing, I just want to everybody know I got a Vince look at the system, and when they say that the system is lightweight, it is lightweight. The color scheme of the blue and black works perfectly. It offers a two place for your SD card and micro SD card that you could just put in and use to save your games. It's coming out July 28th for $149.99, and it's beautiful, man. It may be one of the best DS systems that I've seen and held in a long time. So if you haven't upgraded to a new 3DS XL and you want to get a good price on the system, for $149.99 is probably the best bet that you guys need to get. The top feels phenomenal. Touching it, it just feels so good. And it does come with a charger.
Yes. I think I'm gonna get one. I really do. I've been wanting a black 3DS for a long time, just because, like, I don't know. Man, why is my voice so scratchy? I've been wanting just something that doesn't look like a toy, I guess, you know?
Yes.
And, like, I like my red one, okay, it's cool, but, like, it still looks like, a toy, for the most part. But this looks like a sleek version of the 3DS that looks like, I don't know, it's got, like, yeah, it's got the blue trim and stuff, which I don't mind. And you said it's a little bit lighter than the Joy-Cons for the Switch.
Yes.
It looks more like the Wii U box coloring, but, like, that's okay to me. I want something with better battery life and matches my Switch, and just it's gonna last me a while, because it seems like the 3DS is going to be around for a while, and I want to be able to, and not that, like, my 3DS is going to die or anything. I mean,
Yes.
Nintendo systems last. I just turned on my original Game Boy for the first time in, like, 15 years the other day, and it still works fine. Like, it's not like it's going to stop working, but,
Right.
I want to keep it working longer because the 3DS library is really good, and so.
Right. And I know for me, I want to upgrade because I do want to play Super Nintendo Virtual Consoles on the go, and with my current 3DS I don't have that ability. So if I could do that on the 2DS and also be able to play my amiibos, I don't have the adapter for my old one. Plus my chip, the color and paint on my old 3DS is like chipping away, so I'm just like, yeah, it's time for me to upgrade.
Yeah. I can't wait, man. I can't wait. It's so weird to say, but, like, now that somebody I trust has had access to this thing, and, like, because I've watched a couple videos, and some people were complaining that, like, the top is kind of flimsy a little bit, like it doesn't snap into place like the 3DS does. I'm really excited for this thing, and I know that, like, the screen is going to be a little bit cleaner. The buttons are bigger. And it's not going to waste your battery because there's no 3D in it. Like, this is probably going to be the definitive 3DS DS family of systems system. It's gonna
Right.
it's gonna have the long battery life. It's gonna be able to play Super Nintendo games. It's gonna be able to play Virtual Console games. It's gonna play all your 3DS and DS games. Yes,
Right.
yes.
And if I want to do 3D, I still have my old 3DS. So, like, if I want to do Super Metroid, I'm not Super Metroid, Metroid Samus Returns. I want to see that how it looks in 3D. I could do that on my old system. But I'm probably gonna be playing most of that game in 2D anyway.
Yeah,
So
yeah. So I'm I'm actually really excited for it. I can't wait. I want to see it, and it's coming with Hey Pikmin. So, did they announce any type of bundle for that or anything? Or
no, there's no bundle for it just yet because they're just bringing the system out by
right,
itself.
right,
Because Hey Pikmin is gonna probably be like the leading game. With it, people gonna be like, hey, if you're getting this, Hey Pikmin also came out. Or you also got Ever Oasis and all these other past games. That's gonna be good. So they'll probably do some promotional stuff, maybe along with it if they get the system.
right,
Uh,
right.
so
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So Corey, what have you kind of been playing in a way?
Man, I've been all over the place, man. Last night I was editing video and I couldn't get my videos to process, and I was kind of frustrated. Uh, because we have other shows that need to be up at certain times, and
Yeah, and we have an announcement about a particular show, but we'll wait till after we talk about what we've been playing.
yeah, yeah. I'm really proud of what Moose and Jason are doing with Nerds Gone Platinum, and we'll
Hmm.
talk about that later. But like, that show needed to be up on Thursday, right? And my video wasn't processing, and the way little behind the scenes thing is I create the video versions of the show first, right? Because that's the biggest part of what we're trying to do right now is the video versions and then the breakouts and everything like that.
Yes.
Um, and then I rip the audio file from the video versions, and then clean up the audio a little bit for it to run better through a podcast service or whatever. So, um, but yeah, I couldn't get my videos to process, and my computer was kind of overheating. I think is the issue because I mean I'm doing all my editing on a MacBook Pro that's made for design, like web design and graphic design and writing and stuff. It's not necessarily I didn't buy the one that was built for video editing because that's an extra $1,200 I didn't really have laying around, So,
Right.
uh, so I've been trying to do it on that, and sometimes it just doesn't want to cooperate when compressing videos, and I was frustrated, so I kept popping up all these different games, and like I was just in this mood where like nothing was hitting the spot because I was so frustrated, and you know, in late July, early August, somehow flies find their way through the cracks of the windows of our apartment, and they just fly around. And there's two of them in our apartment right now that we can't get. We cannot get to save our lives because they're so fast. They just zip around, and they're just like, and like this fly just kept flying in front of my face like every 5 seconds while I was trying to play a game, and I just could not focus on playing a game, and like I couldn't get this fly, so I was like, screw it. But I tried to play Halo, couldn't do it. Tried to play DMC, couldn't get into it. Tried to download the Destiny beta. My beta codes that GameStop gave me didn't work, and I was like,
Mm.
crap. Which it's not against people that work at my GameStop. That's not their fault. Shout out to Mike and Lydia, by the way. They're the ones that always help me do everything. Make it like they call me when there's special editions of the Switch versions of games when they come in. Like they called me for the Rabbids Collector's Edition, which I didn't pre-order because I want the Luigi Rabbid, not the Mario Rabbid. But they call me and do stuff for me all the time. So like big shout out to them. But like GameStop's system in general gave me the wrong codes, and that sucked because that's the one I really wanted to play last night. Being a big, I guess, fan of Destiny, I guess you would call it. I have my issues with the game, but I still love playing it. uh, so I was like, screw it. So I took my Switch and my 3DS into the bedroom and was watching TV while I was playing Zelda. And I couldn't get into Zelda because I'm like, well, I've done everything. I just like to run around this world and kill stuff. Uh, but I did farm a little bit for the expansion that's coming in the holiday. I just tried to get some weapons and some materials and stuff.
Uh,
I'm not feeling this, and so I popped in Mario Kart, and
yes.
Mario Kart 8 is so good. Like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe for Switch, it is so good. It is the best Mario Kart mechanically, and like I don't know what they're gonna do for Mario Kart 9. The only thing I can think of, which we were talking about on our first take before we found out we're having audio issues, if they merged Mario Kart 8 with Mario Kart Double Dash,
Yes.
like that's the only way I can see this series evolving, unless they were just like, all right, we're putting out Mario Kart. It's just called Mario Kart, and it's going to be a service, and you're going to be able to download cups for like $5, $10 a piece. You know, even 4 tracks. You know, for DLC, and it'll be a games as a service type thing. Like those are the only two ways I can see Mario Kart evolving. And so, like, we were talking about Double Dash Mario Kart 8 mixed together, which would be really awesome because
uh,
Double Dash is supremely underrated.
exactly. Like when it comes to talking about Mario Kart, like a lot, some people are for it, Double Dash, some people are not. Some people complained about it, but I'm like, the level design in this game, the drifting in this game, like going around that one track and switching it, just hitting everybody, like it's so fun. It's just so good, and I just love everything about it. It's like it's one of the easier Mario Karts to get into, but
Mm-hmm.
Mario Kart 8 and DX, it's so phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like it's challenging in a way that if Corey, we was talking about this earlier, that like when you're in the back, they give you more offensive items so you could get up closer, so you have a chance to get the number one spot. Where when you're in number one or you're like in the top two, uh they give you more defensive things for you. So you could try to keep it. It wouldn't make sense that if they gave you offensive stuff in the beginning to hit people, you got to work hard to defend yourself. Now they need to be more fair about it, but
Yeah.
uh yeah, just trying to get to number one, because there's sometimes that you'll get knocked off and you'll be in first, get placed in sixth, and you want to get back to that number one spot, and it might be like the second, close to the third lap, and you be like, oh, I need to hurry up and get far. So yeah, but it's such a phenomenal game.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man, gosh, Mario Kart. Oh, man, even my wife loves Mario Kart. She's just like she's all about Mario Kart, dude. She's
Yes.
like it's easy for someone to get into, like because we play. We finally move. I finally convinced her to move up from 50cc to 100cc.
Nice.
Thank God, because like 50cc is like for people who can't play Mario Kart. I'm sorry, 50cc is just like
For casuals.
oh man, it's rough. It's rough when you're like when you've been playing on 200cc trying to gold cup all the all those ones, and
Yes.
you drop to 50cc and you've lapped like everybody at some point, and like oh man, it's rough going from 200 to 50cc and to move up to 100cc is like, man, I'm still winning, but like she's doing better, and it's just like, oh man, we're all about Mario Kart 8.
Yes. Yes.
So
So good.
like
I
she's
haven't got
like
my
at one point she was like, I want my own Switch so I can play Mario Kart when you're not here. And I'm like,
yeah.
okay. I'll just
Yeah,
put the dock in the bedroom.
I haven't got my Switch yet. But hopefully by the time I come to Ohio, I'll have my Switch, and hopefully I'll have my Mario Kart 8 in its own and popping. I would train on the I would train up on the train, and when I see you, you
You
be like, bust it out.
you
Let's go.
you better have Splatoon 2 also so we can play Salmon Run.
Oh yes, I have to.
Yeah. So uh anyways, before we get into the
Oh,
news.
before
Oh,
we get into the news and we make our announcement, I've been playing Rise of the Tomb Raider. I actually finished that on PS4. Um, my Mass Effect review, I just wanted to give everybody a heads up. It will be coming next week. There's a little bit more stuff I want to put into it before I actually give you guys that release. But I've been playing Mass Effect also and Dragon Quest 8. And I still haven't started Star Fox Zero yet. I'm sorry. Got to start playing other games. But Corey, we have a new show. Would you like to tell them what we got up our sleeves?
Oh yeah. So sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off by what you've been playing. I just we got in that Mario Kart roll, and we were
Yes.
just like, ah. So, two things. I like how I held up one finger for two things. Two things. Uh, Nerds Gone Platinum, our PlayStation show, just did an interview with Fallen Legion developers, Yummy Yummy Tummy, and that interview is so good. And by the time you hear this, that'll be up on that audio feed, uh, as per request from the developers. It is an audio only thing, so you can listen to it on our YouTube channel. There's just no video that goes with it. It's just the NerdsCon Platinum logo and the interview. So either way, you can listen to that. I'm really proud of what Moose and Jason are doing with Nerds Gone Platinum. It's that show's growing in popularity very quickly, and it's great because they're aiming that show in a different direction than
Hmm.
a lot of other PlayStation shows. They're aiming it towards the trophy hunters. They're aiming it towards people like the hardcore PlayStation audience, and that's awesome. It's different, which not that I don't enjoy like other PlayStation podcasts like Podcast Beyond and other things that deliver the news and stuff, and they do that too. But to have a show dedicated to trophies and stuff, I'm proud of
Yeah.
them. And like to do the interview with the Fallen Legion guys, it's a cool interview. You should go listen to it. But the other thing that Ed and I started, Let's Pod and Play,
Yes.
our new video series, which we announced on last week's Arsenal X, but we finally our first episode of that debuted yesterday with Tokyo Mirage Sessions for Wii U. And let me tell you what, man. I was hooked into Tokyo Mirage Sessions, and that's a game that I want to continue to play. Uh,
Yes.
and it's also a game I hope gets a second life on Switch at some point because that game is
Oh,
that game is totally built like Persona, and Persona 4 Golden was the perfect handheld RPG.
uh-huh.
And if you could get that on Switch and let people take it with them and just get into that game, like man, man, I love that game.
At the game, J-pop, Shin Megami Tensei, and Fire Emblem all together. You would think it wouldn't work, but it does. Yeah, you guys have to gotta watch some of the gameplay, hear us talk about that game. Uh, we only did, like you said, like an hour and 10 minutes of it. We are gonna be playing more of it, probably personally. But yeah, the game is so good, dude. I literally enjoy it. And I'm happy that you enjoyed it too, Corey. Like this game, it didn't get as much love that it should have. But
Yeah,
oh, it is such dude, I just when you said this game needs to come to Switch, I wasn't even thinking about it. And I'm just like, yeah, this would be a perfect Switch game. Like
yeah,
literally a perfect Switch game for me.
yeah. And like I played it for probably like 15 minutes when it came out, and like
Uh,
I stopped playing because we were so enthralled in Destiny at the time, me and my raid group, and we were raiding like we were literally raiding three nights a week with our characters because trying to
and
get in the gear and stuff. And I was like, I'll get to this when we put Destiny down, and I just never did.
yeah, and I was doing Paper Mario Color Splash.
Right.
I was working on that, and then I tried Tokyo Mirage. Yeah. So yeah, it is a backlog game kind of for me, but like putting it in is still like back in my system. So if I turn my Wii on, be like, yeah, I'm gonna probably do 3 hours worth of you, even though I need to do Zelda.
Yeah. So that episode is going up, or that episode's already up. Ed and I have a couple episodes planned. Next week's episode is all about Bayonetta 2, which is another game that's been teased for Switch by
Yes.
Platinum so many times. Uh, and then what else are we doing? Oh, we're doing the Tomb Raider Uncharted episode,
Yes.
which is both games in one episode, so that's going to be interesting. And then Matt and I are going to do some Bloodborne and Dark Souls at some point. So
Yes.
this is just a test run show. It's going to be 10 episodes. We're going to try the seasonal thing, 10 episodes per season. So I hope you guys enjoy it. It's a weekly show that goes up at 1:30 Eastern Time on our YouTube page and on ngrradio.com. So let us know.
Yes.
Let us know what you think. The first they're the first episode, so we're getting our feet wet and trying to figure out the show. But I hope you guys like it.
Yes.
I enjoyed doing it. So yeah,
Yes.
yes. Well, now that we've made our announcements, why don't we get into some of the news, some of the happenings of the
Yes.
world of Nintendo?
Yes. So, most of these stories that are coming from Nintendo Life. This first one, Nintendo has recently filed a trademark application for the Nintendo 64 controller, which have people speculating could a Nintendo 64 mini classic
Well,
be coming? Well, Nintendo has recently filed a trademark application for the Nintendo 64
what's up,
controller
nerds?
in
Welcome
Europe,
to Nintendo
which, given
Pound
the
Block.
timing, might well indicate that a Nintendo 64 Classic Mini could be in the works for next year. This trademark has been also filed for the NES controller and Super NES controller. So the logic does kind of sound right because both systems are have well, the NES Classic has came out and the Super NES Classic is on its way on the 29th. Um, so I I super stoked for this. The only problem that I have for it is just like what games go on the system. We know Mario 64, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask. We know
Quest 64.
Mario Kart.
Nailed it.
Oh no, no.
I'm
But
just kidding. I'm just kidding. Dude, I'm just kidding. Dude, like what I was telling you though beforehand was like a lot of the best games now are on Rare Replay for Xbox One because they're owned by Rare now. And it's like,
yes,
Conker's Bad Fur Day was really fun. Banjo 1 and 2, Perfect Dark. Like those games are seminal games for the N64 and they're already out on Xbox One. Like, not to take anything away from like N64 or anything Nintendo did because
Mhm.
Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask and Mario 64 especially are like seminal games for that system. But yeah, coming up with like 20 games for that system is going to be like really rough. And does it come with one controller, two controllers, or four controllers?
Oh yes, that would be the thing about it, and I think it would probably be like $100 for this one.
Oh yeah,
Um,
it's gonna. There's no way it'd be less than
um,
$100.
I will say that, you know, maybe Microsoft can step in. Maybe
Yeah,
Phil Spencer needs to step in and be like, hey, we know, I'm like, if you guys are making this reality, let's make a good deal because they made a good business deal. Like with Minecraft, that's a good business deal that both
hmm
Nintendo and Microsoft has made. So continue that tradition with the N64. Get those old, people will love to have Perfect Dark. People would love to have the original Banjo
until
on
they
that
play it,
system.
until they play
Well,
it.
yeah, until they play it, but you know those games were historical and monumental for the
Yeah,
N64.
I know. I'm just
It's
saying, have you tried to go back and play GoldenEye or Perfect Dark lately on N64?
no,
Ooh, oh, boy, you're gonna be in for a treat.
no.
Uh,
I used to play the world is not enough on N64 multiplayer with
well,
my two friends.
well, well, dude, let's talk about this for a minute because
Yes,
N64 was the greatest Christmas gift I ever received in my entire life. Let me tell you, let me, okay, let's back up to Christmas 1996. Okay, I'm 10 years old.
I'm 16.
I was still debating whether or not to get a Super Nintendo because it came with Super Mario All Stars plus Super Mario World and Yoshi's Island. Like
I had
that was like a bundle that was out. And or and do I get games for Super Nintendo or do I get the N64 because Super Mario 64 looked amazing at the time.
Mhm.
So I wake up Christmas morning because I knew I was getting one of them for Christmas. I knew it. And so I ran downstairs, and my grandma used to stay the night with us when she was alive, and she used to stay the night with us and make us breakfast for Christmas morning, me and my cousin Lindsay, who lived with us at the time. And uh we ate breakfast at like 5 a.m. and then my parents would come downstairs at like 6, and we were sitting there like in front of our piles of presents. And like I was like, I know one of these has to be something. And like at first I was kind of disappointed because I was going through my presents, and it was like clothes and like I don't know what was popular at the time, Power Rangers, I guess. I probably got a couple Power Ranger figures, and like trying to figure out. And I got a couple games for Genesis and Nintendo that my cousin had got me. And like I was like, oh man, I'm like, and like being a greedy 10-year old, I was like, man, I didn't get anything. And then I was going through my stocking, and I opened there was two gifts in my stocking. One was like this big box of candy or something, and the oh, it was a bunch of Pez. I had got some Nintendo Pez shooters, uh, and the other one was Super Mario 64. And I had opened Super Mario 64 before I got my Nintendo 64. I was like, cool, can't play it. And my mom was like teasing me. She's like, oh, you can go next door to your friend's house and play it. I'm like, but I don't like my next door neighbor. So my grandma was like, hold on, I think I got a few things out in the trunk of my car. And we go out there, and my dad brings in these two huge bags, one for me and one for my cousin. And in this bag was gosh, I mean, you know how big the N64 box was. Like
Yes.
I got an N64, another controller, and Pilot Wings. My grandma had gotten me Pilot Wings, and I had two
Uh,
controllers. And I was like, okay, I don't care if anybody's coming over at noon. I'm playing my Nintendo 64. And oh my gosh, dude, like I just remember sitting behind the couch where my gaming TV was, and like plugging it in, and just like my mind was blown that I was running around. I spent the first 2 hours of playing Super Mario 64 running around outside the castle before I even went in the castle.
yes, yes,
And I was
yes.
like, I can swim underneath the water. I can jump up and climb these trees and collect coins. And I was like, this game's amazing. And then all of a sudden, I ran up to the castle. I wasn't even thinking. And then Lakitu came around with the camera and was like, telling me to go in the castle. And I went in the castle. I was like, there's more. There's more to this game? What is happening? So that was I got my N64 for Christmas story.
Yeah, I got my Nintendo 60. I asked for a Nintendo 64, so uh I got that for Christmas with Super Mario 64. And unlike you, Corey, I disappeared like literally. Like
Yeah.
I opened it up, I screamed, lost my mind, because I had seen this game in EGM so many times, and I knew Nintendo had, like, I was reading about the Ultra 64, I was studying the games, looking just like every day I was looking at pages and pages, any new information that was coming out from Japan that was in EGM, I studied it. So the system comes out, I asked for a Nintendo 64, definitely I was going to get it for Christmas. Um, and yes, I am a teenager at this time, and I'm still asking for a system like that. Uh,
Hey man, when GameCube came out, I was heading to college at some point, and I asked for it
I
for Christmas. So
I actually bought my own GameCube. I didn't start buying my own systems until the first system that I ever bought by myself was Dreamcast. And then I did GameCube, PS2, Xbox, like, because I finally had a job just in college, and I was buying my own DS games and stuff like that. But that's for later on. Uh, but N64, yeah, I remember disappearing, uh, putting in Mario 64 and playing that thing for almost 8 hours. Like I even had to give it a rest because I had to go eat and stuff and visit other family. But running around, learning the game mechanics, doing the levels, getting the stars, like it felt like a whole new world. I've never touched anything analog until I touched the N64 controller, and it clicked.
Yeah.
Like everything about that game clicked, and I was just like, "Oh my goodness, this is phenomenal."
Well,
And then
that controller was built for Mario 64. Like,
yes,
ugh,
yes,
ugh.
and I didn't actually get extra controllers because nobody was going to be playing this system with me or anything. Uh, but I do remember when I got Ocarina of Time, and I almost just I literally lost my mind because I was just like, this is a whole new Zelda, but this is a whole another level of video games in history for me. Like Mario 64 changed the whole gaming history. Zelda added on to that change, and I was just yeah, I did end up getting a PlayStation for for my birthday and stuff, but I was playing mostly my N64 games, and I only reason why I got a PlayStation was for role playing games. That was pretty much it.
Yeah. The when I first played Ocarina of Time, and I mean I've told this story before too, but like the only Zelda game I'd ever played before Ocarina of Time was Link's Awakening on Game Boy.
Mhm.
like
Wow.
like the original green and yellow version, not
Yes.
the Game Boy Color version.
Color. I
So,
wish I owned both versions.
yeah. So like going from Link's Awakening to this was like ooh, it was it was a big change, and like
Do
I liked Ocarina of Time a lot until like I didn't the Shadow Temple. I did not realize you could go back in time to finish the Shadow Temple. And I was stuck on the Shadow Temple for months to the point where like
wow.
I beat Majora's Mask before I beat Ocarina of Time.
Can I tell you? I literally had to buy. This is the first time I ever bought a Zelda strategy guide. When you went to the desert and you got caught by the females,
Hmm.
that was the time that I had to buy it because I didn't know what to do. I like, how do I get past this? Of course, you don't have YouTube or anything like that.
Hmm.
I was just like, how do I? Once I got past that part, I didn't look at the strategy guide at all. But I spent Christmas money buying the strategy guide, buying
Yeah.
that strategy guide.
Yeah, and like I was like, what am I like what do I do? And so I stopped playing it, and I had such a sour taste in my mouth for Ocarina of Time that I was just like, I like, and that's probably the sole reason that game does not make my top five Zelda game list is because of that frustration I had
Uh,
until my cousin came over the Christmas after Majora's Mask had come out, and I had already beaten Majora's Mask, which I loved Majora's Mask. I thought it was awesome. I still love that game so much.
See,
Uh,
that game would never end up in my top five.
oh, see, it's totally in my top five. It's probably in my top three, but
You know, we're gonna have a discussion hopefully one day, just
uh,
maybe on the Power Play you where again you like that I dislike and vice versa. Because
mhm.
right now Majora's Mask is yours, but Final Fantasy VII is mine.
Don't.
Where we each have a dislike for each other's game. And I don't let me tell you, I don't dislike Majora's Mask. I just don't like the fact that there was a time limit put onto it because when I play a Zelda game, I want to explore.
See, that was the thing. Like, I still have my Majora's Mask notebook somewhere, and I had the strategy
Uh-huh.
guide for Majora's Mask, and I had a notebook that went with that strategy guide telling me, like, okay, this is what the construction workers are doing. This is what the little girl over here is doing. This is what the old lady is doing. Like, I had a schedule. I had their schedules, and I was like, okay, now that I've memorized their schedules, let's go to the guide and see where I need to go. And like I had it so down pat that like I could do the task I needed to do in like a day and a half almost, unless it required like a certain time to do it. And like
Nice.
and I was like, Yes, I love this game so much, and I delivered all the masks, and I delivered all of the, I got the fierce deity, which meant doing the fierce deity thing
Uh,
and doing the final boss fight makes that final boss fight so anticlimactic because it's just so easy that it's just like, oh, okay, well, that's kind of a downer, but that's okay, because it's kind of meant to be not like meant for players to not do everything, which makes it a lot
yeah,
harder. So, but yeah, what were we talking about? Oh, the N64
this
classic.
is for yeah.
Uh,
I know. Yeah, like Jeff vs Gemini. I love that game. That was an offbeat rare game that didn't get the love. Definitely for this mini classic though, I would love for Mischief Makers and Sin and Punishment to come. Like
Mischief Makers is severely underrated just because it
yes,
came out of the time when everybody wanted to play 3D games and it was still a 2D game.
yes, but
Oh,
it was hard as ever, and that's what I loved about it.
yeah. Yeah. Man, what do I want to see on this thing? I mean, you would probably like the one game I think I would like to see on here that, I know a lot of it would have to be go through Microsoft still.
Yeah.
Uh, would be Diddy Kong Racing.
Ooh,
I
yes.
would like because like I know technically Diddy Kong is a Nintendo character, but probably half of the racers are owned by Rare because Conker's in it, Banjo's in it,
Yeah.
that Crocodile guy is in it. Uh, Timber, the remember Timber the Tiger, that platformer that Rare was working on that got canceled after they got bought by Microsoft.
Yeah.
Like all those characters are owned by Rare, and like I really hope, even if it makes the box cost like an extra $10 or $20, like I would love them to go to Microsoft and say, hey, you own a library that was seminal to the N64's existence. Can you please help us out with this box?
Right.
And like I would love, even if we just got like Banjo 1 and, Perfect Dark and not necessarily Conquer, because Conker's that mature game that Nintendo doesn't really want to show off, probably, I'm sure, to sell this box. Um, so, but like at least get Banjo 1 and maybe Perfect Dark. Um, what else would I would like to see, like Wave Race, uh,
Yes.
1080 snowboarding. Uh,
I think Blast Corps was one of them.
yeah, Blast Corp's still owned by Rare too, though.
Oh, okay.
Which I mean, you could get those games, I'm sure.
Resident Evil 2.
Mm.
Uh, it's good on
Well,
N64.
the N64 is the definitive version still, right? Because it has
Yes.
all those links to Resident Evil Zero in it.
Right. So I would definitely get Resident Evil 2 on that system. Like it's quicker and it plays better than the PlayStation 2 version. PlayStation 1 version, I'm sorry.
Yeah. DK64 would probably be on there. Um,
We'll have to make a list.
Paper Mario.
Oh yeah, Paper Mario and Smash has to be on it.
Oh yeah,
That's
the original Smash. I forgot. Mario Kart 6 or Mario Kart 64 would probably be on there. Yeah,
yeah.
we'll have to do a whole episode on this, probably around the time that the Super Nintendo maybe comes out, and after we talk about that, maybe we'll just do a whole episode on the Super Nintendo Mini, and then we'll talk about the N64.
Yes.
So
Oh, I can't wait for our adventure about the Super NES Mini. That's going to be
yeah,
so fun, so much fun.
yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah. We have to do that, and then we have to go to GameStop and pick up Pokken Tournament for Switch right after that because it comes out the same day, right? It's the
Well,
same day.
I'm getting mine probably from the same place because I get a discount.
Right. Well, yeah.
So
Well. Oh boy, but yeah, that's exciting. I like I like this Nintendo 64 so much.
so yeah. Yeah.
Okay, Ed, what else do we got?
Well,
You got me super hyped for this N64 thing, and I'm just like, ah.
dude, I told you it was hard. It's hard making the list. Like literally, I was thinking about it, and it was hard making the list. Well, I'm kind of going to combine these two. games, and then we'll get into the last topic after this one. Um, Intriguing musical action adventure title Figment is heading to Nintendo Switch, and Tiny Barbarian DX is also heading to Switch. With Tiny Barbarian DX, you can check out the box art that's done by famous Famitsu artists, and Figment, the musical, you can check a gameplay of how it looks. It's and when it's a musical, it is a musical. Like there's the enemy is singing songs in it, and you it's kind of an action adventure puzzle combat game. So you do like it's on a diag, so you are going different areas. I can't Corey, you might know the art style if you look at it, but I can't figure out what this art style is. It kind of reminds me of
Let me look it up.
Mighty Python almost, but a little bit cleaner in a sense. With the way that it looks. So those games are coming to the Switch. So those are two games that you guys can check out.
Let me see. Let me see this art style. It's
Tiny Barbarian DX is coming in the fourth quarter of 2017 with a price of $29.99. So that's pretty cool. And I think this is a game that's coming from Nicholas is releasing it or something.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, this upcoming sword and sorcery platform game will feature a charming cover illustration by world-renowned artist and character designer Susumu Masushita. You may have come across the work of Mr. Masushita on the cover art for long-running Japanese magazine Famitsu. He also created Famitsu's mascot Neki the Fox, who you might remember popped up as a Super Mario Maker costume. Yeah. And it's weird because when I look at the box art for it, it reminded me of Joe and Mac on Super Nintendo. I was like, wow. But it's a really cool art style, so you guys should be able to check it out.
Yeah. Cool. Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Ed. What's next?
So, before we get into the actual last topic or last part of the news section, just to let everybody know, Elite Angel Ekro is going to be added as DLC for Mighty Gun Vault Burst. Should be free for 2 weeks. Anti Creates has adopted a model to reward early adopters with free content, something we've seen with Blaster Master Zero. Now switching 3DS eShop title Mighty Gun Vault Burst will add content that for a period won't cost a cent. An update to version 1.1 will introduce DLC with Ekaro as a playable character. Should be familiar to those that follow the Gal Gun series and may remember her from Mighty Gun Vault. This DLC will arrive on July 27th and will be free until August 9th, after which it'll cost $1.99. And they do have a trailer for it for you to check that out. Also, Rogue Trooper Redo has a price and a release window. It's coming out October 17th for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC, but it will be coming out for the Nintendo Switch soon after on the eShop after that date. So they don't give a time and a date for that one. So I think it's going to be priced at $29.99 at that, but it's not guaranteed for that price. So those are just like two breaking news stories right now. But Hyper Light Drifter might have a shot coming to the Switch.
Yes.
Yeah, really big. The Somber Neon action game took a lot of its cues from The Legend of Zelda and was a standout indie release of last year, with the Wii U version planned at one point. Unfortunately, the developer ran into significant development barriers, so the game ended up getting, canceled. They said they had to rebuild the whole game from the ground up to work on Wii U, so they just scrapped it. But there is a chance they're looking into bringing that game to the Switch. We don't know if it's going to be just the same game or they're going to have added content. But yeah, Hyper Light Drifter may come to Switch.
Yes. I'm so excited. I like it. that game a lot, and that's the game that you and I have been talking about. Like, man, I really hope this comes to Switch someday, and turns out it actually might.
Just
So
right.
I'm
Yeah.
excited.
So that's the news stories for this show for Podbach that came out.
Yes.
Yes, I would love to see Hyper Light Drifter. There is another game that looks like it that we was talking about on Monday's episode. Um, I forgot the name of it. I didn't write it
Oh no,
down.
I'm gonna remember it. Hold on, hold on. I remember what it is. I don't remember. I'm just looking it up. It was Phantom Trigger.
Yes, Phantom Trigger. Uh, and they said they were inspired by Hyper Light Drifter, and that game looks so beautiful, looks so good.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah, but if it comes out for Switch, Hyper Light Drifter is definitely a must buy.
Yeah. There's a couple of cool games coming to Switch actually real soon. Now that we're on that kind of topic,
Yes.
Retro City Rampage DX is coming on July 27th for Switch. The first-person shooter, if you're interested in, it's more kind of first-person shootery slash vehicle based. Like there's some cool vehicles in it called Morphite.
Yes.
It looks kind of, it has like this weird Metroid vibe to it, like just the way it looks. I don't know. I don't know if it's actually going to be
It's
Metroid, but like a Metroid Prime, I should say.
it looks like what No Man's Sky could have been if it had that design, the way that it looks.
Yeah, but it looks more. It's not No Man's Sky. I'm gonna.
Yeah.
It just has that look to it.
Yeah.
That polygonal 3D style, colorful. So you take on the role as Mira Kale, who ends up undertaking an interstellar adventure after her routine mission goes awry. The game seems to be a mixture of a lot of concepts, and one of the developers has described like the games like Ratchet and Clank, Metroid Prime, and Turok as influences for the gameplay. There's also mini vehicle sections, so that's cool. And I was watching the trailer. There's like there's this weird speeder thing that looks like it was ripped straight from Star Wars Episode 4.
Uh
There's
yeah.
there's like this tanky car looking thing. There's a bunch of vehicles in it, but it looks interesting. I will definitely be keeping my eye on it. So there's that to look forward to, and then there's one other game that was coming. Oh, 90s Super GP, which is a throwback to the old like Daytona 500 for Saturn, uh, games like that, and that game
Mhm.
is also coming to Switch. So it's like a stock car racing game. So those were three kind of games that I wanted to point out. So
Yeah.
yeah, and Tiny Barbarian DX is getting a retail release. So
Yes.
which looks cool. It's like a weird platformer game that looks really cool, sprite based. So yeah,
Well, that's the story that we covered during the
yeah.
box art. Yeah.
Box art, love box art. Box art's very '90s cheesy. Uh, it's awesome. The blonde girl in this box art just looks ridiculous.
Exactly.
So, yeah. Anyways, now what, Ed?
Well, everybody know that we're getting to the fall and holiday season, and you know there's about to be a lot of consoles, special editions dropping this year. So, Corey, I kind of want to ask you, what would you like to see Nintendo drop as a special edition? One for Switch and one for the DS family. What game would you pack in, and how would you like to look for it as its design?
Man, for holiday, I would like to see it for the 3DS, 2DS family of systems, whatever. I'm still gonna refer to it as the 3DS. I don't care.
Okay.
Uh, for 3DS, I'd like to see a Metroid Samus Returns, and really maybe since that's a remake of a Game Boy game, maybe have a
Hmm.
Game Boy retro style with like the nasty pink buttons and the blue slash purple like writing on
Ooh.
it, and just have the box have the DS look like that uh, off white with some gray trim, and really make it look
Ooh.
like an original Game Boy and pack it in with Metroid. Yes,
Yes.
that's what I want to see from a 3DS Special Edition. And gosh, Nintendo, you can have that one for free as long as I can have one. uh, but in terms of Switch, the, there's so I think like there's so much Mario going on this year with Mario
Uh,
Kart, Mario Rabbids, Mario Odyssey. I think the smart thing to do would be to, I mean, man, they're already pack. They already have a Switch with red and blue Joy Cons. Man, I don't know. I think there's going to be one with a Mario theme, a Switch with a Mario theme, uh, just because there's so much Mario going on this year.
because normally they do something special for Black Friday. They have, but those are mostly for 3DS, and I have an idea for that one. Uh, but yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think they're going to do something with Mario, or maybe I don't know if they would do a Zelda bundle with like a cool Zelda themed Switch, just because the DLC is also coming.
uh-huh.
Maybe they would package Zelda in with it for an extra $50 and throw in the season pass just to get sales going on that game again.
Oh, so like a 349.99 bundle in a way.
And it would be like, I don't know, the Switch would have like Hyrule writing on it or something similar to what the gamepad looked like for Wind Waker,
Uh-huh.
but do a Zelda themed one.
I can see the dock having some kind of Zelda design on it. Like,
Oh yeah, the
okay.
dock too. I forgot the dock existed.
Okay. For me, Archer Sun, Archer Moon, Pokemon, 2DS or 3DS. I would love to see that and have the DSs look like the colors of those animals, of those legendary ones coming out for it. Normally they'll probably would do that for Black Friday, but I think that one would be cool for no holiday release. And for Switch, I'm thinking a Xenoblade Chronicles 2, Xenoblade 2 one, where where the city where the doc has like a drawing from Xenoblade Chronicles, and instead of black it's a different, it's like it's red or something, and the Joy Cons are from Xenoblade Chronicles, where they're red with blue trimming to outline like where the blue part was in a sword. I would love like to see that.
Yeah. Man, that I wonder. I just wonder if like the whole thing is like I would love to see a Xenoblade one, but Mario is the game this holiday. Like it's the game they're pushing the hardest. It's the game that's going to get people to buy Switches if they haven't bought it already. Like,
Yeah.
are they really going to waste a special edition on Xenoblade when they have Mario? That's the only thing I am playing around with.
I think Mario is just a guarantee, but I think they have more. I think they have more design and color options with Xenoblade than they do with Mario.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, they definitely do.
You know.
Or they could do like a remember the Fire Emblem one that came, the Fire Emblem 3DS that came out when Fates came out.
Yes.
I could see them doing a similar thing for Xenoblade,
Ooh, that would look nice.
like a white Switch, because like whatever color the console releases in, everybody wants the opposite color. So if they release like a really limited like white Switch,
Hmm.
or like with white Joy Cons or something, and that's the only way you could get them for like 6 months or a year, like I can see them doing that.
I, I, I I would love to have a different colored dock. Even if I had to spend like $80 on the dock itself, like as an extra, I would love to have like just like I was talking about the light blue for the 2DS. I would love to have like a light blue dock,
Hmm.
kind of almost like the Wii when they had that blue one.
Yeah.
That was a really cool look because that color and the material that they used it was just like so spot on. It's just like it really popped. So I would love to have that for my Switch.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a yeah, man. Now I'm all like thinking about cool special editions. I still want a Zelda one though.
I wouldn't see. I wouldn't know how do you do a Zelda one. Like,
I don't know. You could do like the gold and the white. Like the gold and the white would be easy, I think.
well, yeah. I think like I would love my dock to just look like the landscape, like the part where Zelda, where Link actually runs out, and you just see that wide landscape. Like I would like to see that design as my dock.
Hmm. Yeah, man, that's a. I don't. The thing is too though for Switch, I don't know if they would. I don't know if they would do a special edition this year, just because they're already struggling to meet demand on the
Hmm.
on the console itself. So I don't know if they would go out of their way to be like, "Hey, we know we can't develop as many Switches as people seem to want right now. Let's go out of our way to make this really special one." I mean, it could just be like a sticker or whatever. Like, I mean, I guess they already did that though with the Monster Hunter one in Japan. So
Yeah. But I, but yeah, I see the special editions. If they don't do it with the system, the doc I think should get some love, should get some artistic love,
hmm.
and I think that would generate more sales for people. To be like, well, I could, it's an extra doc, but it's a cool doc that I could show off to my friends, and I could just keep this other one like in my room and stuff, like in case.
Hmm. Yeah. So, oh man, special editions are cool. I wish I would have like waited to upgrade my PS4 now because the Destiny special edition's coming out. The white,
That
the white
it
one.
doesn't look good.
But it matches my Xbox One S.
Uh,
And if they're sitting
oh,
next to each other,
uh,
I mean,
I mean, I guess, but
the PS4 Pro doesn't look good in general. Like it just looks dumb. Like I have it plugged in right now because like I'm working on trying to figure out when we're gonna do this Let's Pod and play for Bloodborne with Matt.
mhm.
But like this the system is so ugly. And that's something Nintendo really nailed with the Switch and Xbox with the Xbox One S and now the X, where like
Yes,
the systems look like a sleek piece of technology where this one just looks like a
a ugly
box.
Kit Kat bar.
Oh, it's ugly, man. Like I thought the PS4, like the original launch PS4 looked okay. Like it wasn't the best to work and it definitely looked better than the Xbox One fat. But like I don't know, man. There's something about the Pro that just looks dumb. And like I'm not saying that because I love my PlayStation and I actually am installing The Last Guardian right now
Yeah.
to play it. Because I do want to have that conversation and I do want to do that for a Let's Pod and play at some point.
Yes.
But
Even though I
like
finished the game.
and like that's like I mean we had that conversation on Arsenal X where like The Last Guardian's the closest thing to like a Nintendo game that Sony kind of has right now in terms
Yes.
of like art, feeling like an artistic game and really doing something with an art direction. Well, yeah, it's I don't know. I think the Switch really looks nice and like I think it's one of the better looking handhelds ever made. And I think the 2D.
It's not a handheld.
No,
It's a
I'm saying when you have it in handheld mode, like it's one of the better handhelds. Like it looks like a
okay.
sleek piece of technology, and like the 2DS seems to be going that direction too. Where like, and I think Sony has always had an issue with. I think the last good system they made was the Slim PS2. I think that was the last box that actually looked like something I would want sitting on my shelf, you know. So, but anyways, Yeah, video games. Ed looks
Yeah.
stunned. Ed, you still look stunned by this alternative news.
I'm just stunned because, like, there's just so many great games coming out for the Switch and for the DS systems, or 3DS in general. I should say 3DS, and the list just keeps growing and growing. But special editions of Switch, special editions of the 3DS. Thinking of a list of the Nintendo 64 classic if it ever comes out or ever gets announced, like
a clear purple one.
Yes.
Oh man, clear purple.
Yes.
Man, that'd be awesome. I want some clear purple Joy-Cons now, or a clear purple 2DS.
No.
Oh, man.
They have they got the Galaxy, but
Yeah, nobody wants that. Anyways, well, I guess that's gonna wrap this episode of Nintendo Pow Block.
yes.
You can find Pow Block every Tuesday and Friday on podcast services everywhere. Let's see, at 10 a.m. You can find the breakouts on our YouTube page. I'm gonna try an interesting experiment soon with some future episodes where I want to kind of, if you're watching, I mean, I've brought this up before, but now I'm really going to try to do it, where if you're watching PAL Block, you're going to be looking at the games that we're kind of talking about, either like in trailer form or gameplay or whatever. So I'm gonna try to implement that. I want to see how that works out. You can also find Ed and I on Arsenal X, which is our Xbox show. But anyways, Ed, where can we find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter at ThatRichardCode. You can also check out my podcast, The Optional Opinion, at the AnomousRadioNetwork.podme.com, SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play, and other podcast apps. I'm also on Player FM. If you look up that website, you can find Optional Opinion there. I just found that out. You also could read some of my work on NGR Radio, read some of my blogs. I posted a new The Moment at skirmishfrost.com, so you guys can read Zombies Ate My Neighbors. Check that out.
Yes. Yes. I love that game.
Yes.
Sorry, I just got really excited because I love that game.
No, and you guys can also read Optional Opinion on IGN.com under NMAENIME. Join me on Xbox at the Lyrical One, and join me on PlayStation 4 at Okamiko, and check out my Twitch channel, the Lyrical One, for my listener series. And yes, also check out Let's Pod and Play in Arsenal X on NGR Radio.
Yes. You can find me at Corey Hudson in HD on Twitter. You can find me at Corey in HD on Instagram. You can find me on NGR Radio on Monday mornings at 10 a.m. Eastern Time on YouTube and on iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Google Play, and now Podbean. We have switched services from SoundCloud to Podbean in terms of our primary RSS feed. You'll still be able to listen to the most current episode on SoundCloud because they offer you that free service where you can have a certain amount on there. But our main service, our main feed now is Podbean. I apologize in advance if your podcast service just downloaded like 10 episodes of NGR Radio, because I woke up this morning and I had the last 10 episodes of NGR Radio on my phone. I'm like, what is happening? Oh, wait. iTunes must have updated my podcast feed. So you can go to ngrradio.podbean.com to listen to our episodes. I'm still learning how to use it, so things will be popping up here and there. So
yes, and also, guys, join us on the Nintendo Power Block on Facebook. You guys want to interact more with you guys, talk about news, discussions, questions that you ask us. Actually, Corey, if they do have questions or comments, where can they send that to us?
Right, you can email Nintendo Power Block at nintendopowblock@gmail.com for your questions.
Yes,
and also look for our Facebook things, our Facebook, what do you call them? Threads, I guess.
Yes.
Asking for questions in the Nintendo Power Block Facebook group, and on the NGR Radio proper Facebook group. And then Ed and I will be asking around through our personal stuff on Twitter and stuff. So I'm thinking about making a Power Block Twitter. I think that would be good for us. You know, NGR has one. NGP has one now. So I think it'd be smart if we made a Power Block Twitter. So
Yes.
look out for that. I'm going to figure that out. So, anyways, if you're watching the video version, like, subscribe, and share. If you're listening to us on audio services, rate us, leave a comment, let us know how much you love us, and don't tell us how much you hate us if you do, because obviously you don't hate us because you're listening to us.
Yes.
You can find everything, written stuff, on ngrradio.com. And Ed, I love you.
I love you too.
Thank you so much for watching, and until next week, we love you.
Bye, everybody. Woo-hoo!